Hello everyone, I'm back with a new lesson, letter to the editor. Letters are of two types, formal letters and informal letters. Formal letters are those letters which are written to offices. For example, letters to the editor, government organizations, municipal committees, corporations, business letters to customers, officials, business partners, colleagues, acquaintances, etc. Under informal letters, personal letters to parents, relatives, friends, etc. But in CBSE, you have to study mainly formal letters. And today we are going to discuss one of the most important type of formal letter, that is letter to the editor. So let's begin. Letter to the editor of a newspaper or magazine is one variety of formal letter. What kind of letter it is? It is a variety of formal letter. Such letters are generally written on a topic of general concern. These letters provide an easy platform for readers to convey their feelings and reactions on local, national, or international issues. How to write an effective letter to the editor? It is most important for us before writing a letter to the editor to know how to write it effectively. The first point, use polite and formal language. While writing such a letter, you have to be polite and you have to use formal language. The letter should begin by describing the purpose of writing it. What is your purpose? Why are you writing the letter? It must be very clear from the starting itself. Develop a context for writing the letter. You have to develop a context. You have to explain the event, whatever you are going to write. Describe briefly what you would like to express. You have to be brief, not lengthy letters. Letters should be brief one. Convey the topic details. For example, the law and order problem in your area, its causes, effects, and any other solution for the said problem. You have to suggest solutions as well. Suggest a solution if you are writing about a problem. Conclude the letter with a fervent appeal or suggestion. Don't ask the editor to solve problem because editor cannot solve your problem. Editor's duty is to convey your message to authorities. Write at least 3 short paragraphs. You can write more, but you have to write at least 3 paragraphs. You must write at least 3 short paragraphs. Be careful towards word limit, that is 100 to 150 words. Somewhere you can find 120 to 150 words. But don't try to cross the limit, that is 100 to 150 words. If you follow all these, surely you will write the best letter. We have discussed about the requirements of an effective letter to the editor. And if you follow all those do's and don'ts, surely you will write the best letter to the editor. Now we'll talk about format. If you don't know the format for a letter, surely you will make mistake. So, format for writing a formal letter. It will be followed in all the formal letters. No change at all. The same format you have to follow in each and every formal letter, whether it is letter to the editor, letter of complaint, otherwise any other letter. The first thing you have to mention, sender's address, where on the left side of the page. Suppose this is your margin. Here from you will start writing sender's address. Just next to margin, as I told you, just next to margin, write the sender's address, contact details. You have to follow some important rules and regulations for this. For example, if you are writing any imaginary address, first of all, mention flat number. Suppose I have any imaginary address, flat number 278. Then come down in second line, block C4, C5. If you know the name of the apartment, if you want to add, put a comma, SFS apartment, Rajaji Marg, Biswas Nagar, New Delhi. And if you want, you can add pin code as well. Most important thing, suppose you have written any line in sender's address, don't put a comma at the end of the line. You can put a comma in between, but not at the end of the line. Be careful, be very careful while using comma at the end. It is not allowed. One more thing, in your address you are not allowed to write examination hall. Suppose you are in examination hall, most of the students make such mistakes. So don't write examination hall as your address. Mostly it is given in your question itself. If it is not given, you can write any imaginary address. Next thing, date. Just below it, leave a line. First you have written sender's address, then leave a line, and just below it write date. For date you have to be very careful. A date like SEP 17 2020 is not permitted. You have to write complete spelling September, not Sep, not January. So you have to be very careful. How? Suppose 16 May 2020. So you have to follow such a format while writing the date. Next thing you have to do, leave another line. First you have written sender's address, leave a line, then date, leave a line, then receiver's address. Nowadays, two is not necessary. Two is not practiced in modern English. So simply we start whom we are writing, the editor. So we'll start the editor, otherwise the principal, otherwise the manager, the sales manager. We'll start writing like that along with its address, but before that the editor, the name of the newspaper. What is the name of the newspaper? Any name you can choose, the Hindu, the Hindustan Times, the Times of India, any. Just below it, its address. But mind it, do not put comma at the end of line. This is not permissible. This is wrong. So avoid it. Next thing that we are going to write just after it, subject of the letter. It can be clearly found in the question itself, subject of the letter. While writing subject, how will you write subject? First you have to mention subject and then colon and then mention your subject in not more than 4 to 5 words. In any condition, you must not cross the limit of that particular line. You need not go in the second line. Anyhow, you have to write your subject in the same line in which you have written the subject. So be very careful, be economical while writing subject. Just after that, you need to write salutation. If you know the person whom you are writing, whether he or she is a male or female, then you can choose any, whatever is suitable, sir or madam. Suppose you don't know, then how will you write? You will write sir oblique madam. Otherwise, simply you can write sir. That is also permissible. Just after that, there comes the most important content of your letter, body of letter. What is body of your letter? What is content? Here you have to explain the matter of your letter. Body of your letter must be divided into 3 paragraphs, at least 3 paragraphs. The guideline of CBSE says at least 3 paragraphs. You have ability, you can write more, but at least 3 short paragraphs must be written. How? First paragraph, introduce yourself and the purpose of letter. In the first of all paragraph, you have to introduce yourself and the purpose of the letter, why you are writing the letter. In second paragraph, it should include the matter in detail. Mention your matter in detail. In third one, conclude your letter by mentioning the conclusion or solution. So in the last one, you have to mention what are your suggestions. Now seventh and last section of formal letter, it will be followed in all the formal letters, not only in letter to the editor. Complimentary clause. In complimentary clause, you are free to write thanking you or not. In most of the places you can find it is not written, and at many places it is written. So you are free. If you wish to write, you can, otherwise you can omit it. Yours faithfully or yours sincerely, yours truly, you have to mention just below complimentary clause, that is complimentary clause. So if you are writing yours faithfully, suppose you are writing yours faithfully, how? In the same way, first letter capital, avoid using apostrophe. Here sometimes most of the student make such mistake, they use apostrophe. So that is not permitted. Write the same way as it is written. Second word must start with small letter as it is written, yours faithfully. Second word must be started with small letter. In the same way, as you can see, yours sincerely, yours truly can also be written. But second word must start with a small letter. Just below it, you will write your name, who you are. Before ending, you have to mention your name. Suppose your imaginary name is Ajit Kumar, then yours faithfully Ajit Kumar. If you have any designation as well, suppose you are the principal, you are the librarian, then you can write librarian. So you can add such things if you have such designation. This is main part of a letter to the editor, not only to the editor, to all the kind of letters which come under formal letter. I hope you understood. I would like to remind you. First one, sender's address, leave a line. Second one, date, leave a line. Third one, receiver's address. But in sender's address along with receiver's address, no comma at the end of the line. Next, subject of the letter. First write subject, colon, use a very short subject, hardly 4 to 5 words. Keep in mind you have not to cross the line. Next one, salutation sir or madam. No comma is required in modern English. Body of the letter, where you will mention everything. It must have at least 3 paragraphs. In the first one, introduce yourself and the purpose of writing letter. In second one, it should include the matter in detail. Mention your matter in detail. In the third one, conclude your letter with suggestions and conclusion. And at the end comes complimentary close. As I told you, sometimes you can find thanking you in a letter, and sometimes it may not be found. So it is on you. If you wish, you can write, otherwise, it is not compulsory. Then, yours faithfully, just below it, your name, who you are, with your designation if you have. If you follow all these, surely you will get 100% marks.